after the e-commerce giant is hit with an antitrust lawsuit. The litigation alleging Amazon of monopolizing online marketplace services, shares down about 4% here. Obviously, Julie, this was well telegraphed, well reported. We knew the FTC chair, Lena Khan, made a name really on Amazon. It's interesting how the street's going to ultimately see this, too. It's a long road, potentially, yes. Folks I talk to say years, right, between the complaint and the appeals.
Yeah.
And then even if the FTC wins, let's see it's broken up, how do investors think about that?
Well, and given all of that, it's interesting that we saw the stock decline on the day by 4%, although you could argue that that's as much a function of the macro environment and this moment in time as it is this headline coming today. As you said, investors knew about it. We don't know what the outcome is going to be. It's going to take some time. So why then see the stock down 4%? Well, maybe because partly rates are at 4.56% today. We're seeing a broad sell-off in tech. Tech has really emerged as the group to be interest rate sensitive this year. And so here's another day where we're seeing that as a factor along with the
FTC
Amazon
making the headlines, but higher yields not helping.
Right, exactly. All right, let's take a look at some of the other movers we're watching. Electric vehicle makers on the move today. Fisker is one of them, anticipating a milestone pace of 300 vehicle deliveries per day in the U.S. and Europe. Also watching shares of Rivian. Those shares are higher after Baird designated the stock a fresh pick ahead of the EV maker's deliveries report. Now, to be clear, especially in the case of Fisker, like it's still teensy tiny, weeny, right? So it's just sort of a confirmation that it's actually going to be able to make some cars at all with any kind of sort of critical mass here. I should mention also, Bank of America also reinstated coverage of Fisker with a buy rating and an $8 price target.
So still bulled up there.
Yeah. I mean, but the company's, it's delivered, let's see, 900 vehicles.
Yeah.
It's, it's still small.
It's a name. Limited, but look at that. Nice
Limited
pop.
run. That's a way of making it sound.
Oh, boy.
I mean, they're not cheap cars. That's for sure.
And shares of Etsy closing. Let's see how Etsy did today. Some notes being passed around on the street. They were higher last time I checked. Nope, down 4% in the red. Evercore lowering its price target on the e-commerce company from 105 to 85. The analyst behind that call on Tuesday lowered its price target, but he still has an outperform on this name, which is interesting. Julie, he's still near term. He says, listen, he's telling his clients, he does see some challenges there. He says they expect to be range bound, but long term, he did make some survey of clients and liked what he saw there. He said, listen, according to his survey's results, they show that customers continue to like the platform, purchase frequency, usage growth, bottom line, positive consumer sentiment. So near term, pointing out some challenges why he lowers his target, but long term, they still like the name here.
Well, and even some of the challenges that he talks about, he says may be overstated by the market. For example, he looks at the potential for competition from Temu and Shein online, and the other sort of hot retailers online. And he said the negative narrative related to the impact on Etsy from these platforms may be overdone. He said consumer overlap is comparable to other industry players. In other words, there's already competition out there. It's not necessarily for Etsy, at least, that Temu and Shein bring in a lot more than what is already out in the market.
Are you an Etsy fan?
I do like Etsy.
Yeah, shop around there?
I'm not like an everyday.
A little here and there?
A little here and there. That's a good way to describe it.
All right.
You?
Team Lipton found a great bookshelf on Etsy.
Oh,
I gotta say, very nice.